Greetings everyone. In this Firefly tutorial I'm going to be talking you through success criteria. These are one of my favourite Firefly features when it comes to assessing students. I find it has that perfect combination of saving me time and giving students some meaningful feedback to help them improve, and it also helps to give them a really good record of their marks in Firefly and to see their progress. So it's really good, or I think it's really good. And in this video I'm going to be showing you a quick demonstration of how you would use it, and then I'm going to be going back and showing a tutorial of how you would set them up yourself. So this is how it works. When you're marking a student's work, and I've put a fake essay here for my Year 12s, when you're marking a student's work, you click on a student, you read their work, whatever it might be, and then you click on Add Mark Grade Feedback, and it pops up the success criteria that you have created beforehand. And you can see here that actually it's lighting up as I move my mouse around, because you can click on these as boxes. And as you can see, as I click on them, it remembers which ones I clicked off. So depending on how this student has done for knowledge, depending on how they've done for analysis and evaluation, I can show how their levels spread out. And I find this so useful for students because it means they can really see, oh, my knowledge was fantastic, but I completely missed out the analysis, and therefore my evaluation didn't really work either. So it helps to kind of give really specific feedback for students. You can give individual feedback over here for the different success criteria, and there's an option that actually gives a mark for each success criteria as well. I don't, because in politics it's an overall mark, but your subject may well be different. And then you come down the side, and then you've got the boxes which you've probably seen before. So I can just kind of say, well, this student actually got a 20, which was actually a B, and then I can write in some overall feedback. Now, what I tend to do when I use these is I tend to leave these bits blank unless I have something very specific I want to say, and I tend to put my feedback in these bottom boxes here. And then you press Save Mark, it saves that, and then you can see that that is now a nice little image for the student to show how they've done, which they can compare with previous ones and future ones. I think it's brilliant. I absolutely love it, and it makes my feedback when I'm going through the students, just having the work up and then just going, well, that's that. It means that when I'm writing the feedback, because normally you're just writing this kind of stuff anyway in your own language, it means that you can do it with a few clicks rather than having to kind of write it out in prose. So how do you set these up? Well, let me show you how you'll use it most of the time. Most of the time you will have already set this up on a previous task, and then the quickest way to then get it up there again is to copy a task you've made already. So let's say I wanted to set another essay for Year 12 using the same success criteria. I go to the task where I've already made the success criteria, and I press this copy button here, which is above my head. And when I press the copy button, I can then set the same tasks to any other class. Let's set it to the same group just for funsies. Change the title as you wish, change the dates as you wish, but the most important thing is when I scroll down, the success criteria is already there from my previous one. I can actually edit it a little bit if I wish, but this is the biggest time saver. And I realise this tutorial is a little bit backwards because I'm kind of showing you how to use it once you've already made it, but this is how you'll actually be using it most of the time, and this is why it's quick to use, because once it's set up, just copy a previous task. And then you can go down and you can see the way you might fill in all your kind of task options and so on. In the future, Firefly has said that what they want you to be able to do is just to pick which success criteria you want to use from a drop-down list, but they haven't implemented that yet because they've been implementing lots of other things. But in the future, if you're watching this video in the future, that may already exist. But for now, the best way to do it is to copy a task that already has the success criteria over, and then you press Set Task. And when you go back into the viewing the task, you can see that the brand new task is here with the success criteria that I can click on as I showed you before. So how do we actually set these up, and what options do we have when we do so? So we go into we go into our new task, and then you fill it out as you normally would. So I'm going to set a Year 7 task, and you give it the name. So I have let's say it was on the Battle of Hastings. You set your usual dates, blah 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 blah. I'm just going to do these very quickly so it actually kind of the task works for me. And then we get down to here, and the one we're looking for is this, add success criteria. And when we click on success criteria, it then asks us how we want to assess each criteria. If, like me, you just want to have the option of giving feedback, you would click feedback only. But if you want to give each criteria an individual mark, then you would pick one of the other options. Let's pick the mark one just so for a bit of variety's sake. And then we can title the success criteria. I'm going to choose 30 mark essay, but of course you can type in your own if you wish. Again, in the future, hopefully Firefly will make it that we can just choose one that we've previously made beforehand. And then here is the success criteria. If we want to add another level, we press that button. If we want to add another criterion, we add this button. So the way I tend to do it is I tend to call this something like kind of level 1, level 0, and then we've got maybe like a level 1, level 2. I'm not going to set up the whole thing in front of you, but just to give you a flavour of how it works. I normally put in the level 0s just in case a student hands in something that has like no evaluation whatsoever, and also in some ways it actually gives them a little boost, because it means even if they hand in something that perhaps could be stronger, it means they're not the bottom level. It means we can push them up slightly. And then success criteria can be whatever it might be. So in this case let's call it knowledge, and in this case maybe the next one is SPAG, for if it's like maybe like a Key Stage 3 assessment. And then you just fill in whatever those particular criteria might be, and the more detailed and child-friendly you can make it, the more useful it will be to them. If it's A-level, perhaps you just want to copy across the ones from the exam specification. If it's Key Stage 3, you probably would simplify it, and so on. You can normally copy directly out of the exam board's paperwork as well, so I tend to literally have the two documents open and just copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. And then if you put whatever the mark is out of, you'd put it there. So let's say that knowledge is out of 10, and let's say that SPAG is small, it's only out of 3. And then you fill in these ones here, which I'm not going to do because that will take me time on this video, but you can see that that's where you would put them in. And of course, if I want to add another criteria or another level, I can do so. And if I want to delete one, I can do so by clicking these buttons here. Don't forget the actual task itself. It might be a question, or it might be something far more detailed. Of course, you can add files such as writing frames and so on. So all that normal stuff for the task is still there. And once that's done, let's go for do the task. That'll thoroughly confuse my year 7s. And then I'm not going to press set the task because it will actually thoroughly confuse them. You will press the set task button, which is currently behind my head, and it's done. And it's done, and then you'll see what I saw before with the success criteria that you can click on and you can activate. Just a little note: if you set the task to appear in the future, you won't be able to mark that task until after that date has gone past. So if you're trying to make one as a test and you set it for the future, you won't be able to click mark this student's work until that date actually kind of comes up. But you can see the criteria there. Once you start to mark someone's tasks, you can't then adjust the criteria. So make sure you're happy with the criteria before you mark the first student. But once you mark the first student, before you mark the first student, you can go back and edit it in. So sometimes what I do, if I really want to get a task out as quickly as possible, is I just quickly set the task, and then I will go back in and add the success criteria before I am ready to mark. That will work. But once I start marking, I then can't add it back in afterwards. So that's it, and then it takes you to your criterion that you can then click on and hopefully save you time and hopefully give your students some awesome feedback. Again, if you've got any questions about it, let me know. If you've used it in a different way and you've got any suggestions for other people about how you've used it, then please let me know about that as well, so I can pass on the good practice. Thanks for watching. My voice has just gone really, really deep, and that's great because I've got parents' evening this evening, so that'll be wonderful.